Hello, and welcome back to the next installment of The Sojourn of Jesse. I'm, of course, Jesse, and this is going to be episode 9. And I want to start talking about the actual food I eat on keto and what its principles are and some of the pitfalls that I've encountered over the past few years. One thing that's absolutely necessary is to get a ketone testing kit. So, what this does is that when you eat, you can analyze your urine and you'll see when you're in ketosis or when you're not in. Surprisingly, actually, not surprisingly, many of the products that they list as zero sugar and that are keto friendly, they're not. You'll eat those products and you will drop right out of fat burning mode. And it's because basically the ingredient lists are lies. They lie through advertising and they're never held accountable for it, so they don't care. They don't care if they derail your diet or they ruin your health, because that food is terrible for you anyway. So, what you want to do is you want to limit the amount of carbs that you eat so that you enter into ketosis, which is your body stops running on sugar, glycogen, and it starts running on fat. So you don't even have to look fat to have fat stored in your organs, because that's where the fat is stored first before it ever presents itself on your body. So once you actually have a bit of a belly and everything else, yeah, your organs are pretty much have quite a bit of fat inside of the spaces in between them and actually stored within them. So doing keto is a wonderful thing because you lose the weight from the inside and the organs first, and then it moves to the outside. And believe me, when you start increasing the health of your inner organs, that is the thing that really, really helps you out and allows you to become a fat burning machine. And also freeing up all that fat from inside of your organs, that actually helps them to work better. So you're going to feel better in time. Starches, pasta, rice, all these potatoes, these things all have a lot of starch in them, and that will turn to sugar. So unfortunately, it's necessary, if you're gonna do keto, to give those up. You have to be willing to give up everything and just eat the foods that you're allowed to eat. And crazy enough, I did really well for the first 10 months, and then I hit a plateau. And funny enough, I was listening to one of the keto doctors that I listened to, and I heard him say you could drink seltzer water. And the funny thing is, I was like, wow, I love seltzer water. So I went in and I got like strawberry and lemon and this and that, and it says it's zero sugar, zero carbs. And so I literally was, I thought I hit a plateau. And what it really was is that I was trusting the labels, and they were lying. So finally I was taking these tests, and I was dropping out and coming back in, but barely. I did this for 6 weeks. And then I ended up thinking that I had hit some sort of plateau, and I went off my diet to reset my body, because I thought my body was acting like it was in a starvation mode, where it was holding on to the fat, and it was trying not to, it was self-preservation. That wasn't what it was. I had introduced seltzer water to my diet, and that had been unknowingly taking me in and out of keto. So I didn't gain weight, but I didn't lose weight. And then once I had actually, this was a big learning experience where I learned that don't trust the label, trust the test. The test won't lie. You're either in or you're out. And so if you're eating stuff, you have to make sure that through testing that that product is as clean as it says it is. And 9 times out of 10, when you get those keto wraps or you get this or that, when it says keto, it's a lie. That won't keep you in keto. And, well, who's got time for games? Not this guy. I don't have time for games. You know, so when I see people say, well, I tried keto, it doesn't work. You cannot cheat. If you cheat, you'll waste a week of progress just cheating one day, even one meal. And like I was trying to say before, that food is just terrible for you and it's going to kill you anyway. So it's pretty much in your best interest to just give it up. But I guarantee you, if you try to if you do this and you stick to it, that's how I went from over 650 pounds to 265 pounds today. And believe me here, see that? You don't get that from being 50 pounds overweight. A lot of these people talk about losing weight, and I'm like, ha! You lost 50 pounds, 70 pounds. I think it's a wonderful thing, but what I really would ask you is, what's your blood work like? Because I showed some of my blood work earlier in a video, and well, as soon as I get more acclimated to this platform and being able to manipulate and edit stuff, I'm going to be posting all of my blood work, and you guys are just going to faint, because I actually got it wrong. My triglycerides were like in the 250s, and now they're down into the, I think, 70s or 80s. This diet, it's really, I don't call it a diet. This lifestyle really works. And if you want to get back into really good health, this is the way to do it. Because you see all these drugs they push, they give you, they all have side effects. I've never heard of a side effect, really. It's either you're allergic to something that's food, or it's okay. Do we have any garlic lawsuits? Do we have any ginger lawsuits? Do we have any, no. Because that stuff doesn't hurt you. There are no, you're either allergic or it's perfectly fine for you, so one way or the other. But just about every pharmaceutical drug has some sort of reaction or some sort of side effect that you don't really like or want. So I suggest that you eat more natural. And one of the things I'm learning to do right now is I've been really militant about my sugar intake and eating bad foods. But at some point, I'm going to be able to make desserts. Use some bananas or avocados and make some sort of brownies or whatever with it. And because it's all natural, and I get to control what they put in it, what is in it, and I get to choose to sweeten it with stevia, which doesn't give you an insulin response, very little. You can even take stevia and have it in electrolyte powder when you're fasting. And if you don't come out of keto when you're fasting and you take a little stevia, then you're never going to come out of it when you're actually eating regular food. Some of the foods that I learned is you can have half a bell pepper in a day because it has a good amount of sugar in there. You can't eat green beans. You can't eat legumes. There's a lot of things that you have to stay away from, like corn. Very sweet, very satisfying to eat. But depending on your health, you must give it up for a while. I do know that diets like the Mediterranean diet, and there are, other peoples that live around the world that actually have very low rates of heart disease, and have very little, because they have very little exposure to processed foods and processed sugar. So one thing is that I wanted to restart my life, so I had to get here quick, fast, and in a hurry. And now that I'm getting to the closing end, I'm gonna have to learn how to balance and see how I'm gonna live for what I can eat for the rest of my life and still maintain vibrant health. That's the most important thing, is to be able to be out there in the world doing what you want to do every day, having the energy to go out and then go play, and it's doable. It is very, very doable. And also, one thing I'd like to repeat again is I live in a nursing home. I lost all this weight being bedbound for the first year, I was in bed since September 21st of 2021, and or September 20th, and I did all of this from my bed. The impetus, the start of this, I started getting my health back, and while praying and fasting and everything, I received so many blessings. My exercise bike right here was donated to me by a kind woman, and she gave me some weights and some resistance bands, and I have a couple walkers that helped me to transition from my wheelchair to walking, and now I use that, and sometimes I don't even need it for short trips, and I even have a bike. Now last week I rode over 40 miles on my bike. From 650-pound man to 265 pounds riding a bicycle. I'll tell you what, people in my nursing home are, they're shocked, because there are people who have been working here since before I even arrived. So they've seen me in every stage of this journey. And, well, a lot of them, it's quite shocking, but sadly, there are people that don't believe in it, and people who've tried it, and I would have to say that, yes, you have to be very strict and disciplined. And the sad thing is that I lived a life that was filled with being undisciplined in my food choices. And at some point, you lose enough people. I lost my mother and my brother.
Are you in here?
Pardon that. Nurse came in and actually handed me a cup with some medicine in it that I have to take. Pardon for the interruption. But really, it's a matter of, what do you want for your life? If I had a very hard choice to make, I could have followed my mother and my brother into death, or I could have kept fighting. And literally, my brother's death is what woke me up to the point where I was looking for another way. And I spent 2 years being sick in this hospital, not knowing the way. I didn't have any knowledge of how to get out of this problem that I was in. And like I said, I was gravely ill. You don't get read the last rites twice within 20 months if you're not very, very sick. And so one of the things I want to recommend is you just need to really reflect within your own heart and decide, who do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody who lives their life and feels free? Or do you want to be so sick that your life is just drudgery, trying to drag yourself from one place to another place in an unhealthy state, and it's no good. I literally said this before, but I was a prisoner in my own body. I was in bed all the time. My life was looking out the window or television, but I had no real thought that I was ever going to rejoin life. And so these choices are hard, and I made the wrong choices for a long, long time. But I think one of the things that helped me in that is that I just was not aware in how toxic and poisonous processed foods are. And I think that is coming to light because I see more people talking about it, and I'm happy. I'm overjoyed at that. But one of the things is that it's really not. It's sometimes it's not easy. If it was easy, I'd never even have acquired these health problems, and I'd never be in the position that I am. But I survived because God stepped in and saved my life. And what I'm trying to say is that what's in your heart that you want to live for? Is it your family? Is it your children? Is it yourself? Hopefully, it's all of those. Family and children are a blessing, and I haven't been blessed with that yet, but it's coming. And but at least I'm now prioritizing me and making sure that we had an ice cream social here in the nursing home, and I was like, well, I need to get out of this room because there's 6 gallons of ice cream here, and if I had cheated, I'd be prepared to eat all 6 gallons probably, but I didn't. And so the beautiful thing too is all this is about to be a memory. The beautiful thing is that this skin is going to get cut off soon, and that they're going to take that skin and give it to burn victims. So even though I've paid for my choices, at least something good is going to come out of it. And also, I am going to make sure that when I go see the surgeon, that I film it and that I post it. And that when the surgery happens each time, because I guess I was wrong, they only do certain body parts at a time. So I think, like, I'm going to start with the arms, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to have that filmed, and I'm going to post that to my channel so that people can see it. And basically, it's just, you have to believe that you can do it. Being consistent and being disciplined is the name of the game. And it is really, really important to be consistent. And then once you actually get your health back, I mean, if I've read some studies, I had cirrhosis of the liver, so it actually took me about 1.5 years of doing keto. So I started in July of 2023, but by Christmas Eve in 2024, I was in the hospital for a related issue, a health issue for my blood pressure. But when they did all my testing, it was on Christmas Eve 2024 that the hospital told me. They asked me why I took lactulose, which is a medicine that helps, it's for your liver. I was like, well, I've got cirrhosis of the liver. And they actually said, no, you don't. And I was so shocked and happy, especially that happened on Christmas Eve, was really big for me. And, well, I no longer have cirrhosis of the liver, and it took 18 months to heal. Now, I've heard that people that have some fatty liver and everything, that if you do keto for only a couple of, like 2 months, 3 months, that it should take all the fat out of your liver and that it should go back to its proper health. I'd say that everybody should be doing keto at least for a couple months every few years, because this is a process which actually helps the body cleanse and repair itself, and it doesn't get that chance at that level when you're still eating processed foods and sugar, because you're adding to the problem instead of subtracting. So I hope this gives you some, what I want to do is I want to inspire you to remember that everything you do is a choice. Everything. Whether you turn the television on, whether you, whatever you put in your mouth, whatever you drink, it is your choice. And it is hard to break free, but it is not impossible. So please join that Fix Our Food hashtag. Let's get this to where it's all over the place so that our government is being told that we want the EU standard. We have over 11,000 ingredients in food in America. But since 2002, the European Union has said anything over 338 ingredients cannot be in human food. We need that policy right now. Not later, not as soon as they could do it. And it's only the fact that it would destroy the profits of big business and big pharma that they haven't already done this. Because, like I said, the European Union did it in 2022, and there is no reason other than profits and the fact that they're trying to kill us anyway, that they haven't switched. None. It's all about money, as almost always it always is. But you don't have to participate in it because you have a choice. So please like, subscribe, share, and start commenting, because, well, I really want to hear what everybody's thinking, and also it might give me ideas on what next video to make. What is on the people who are actually coming to watch? What's on your mind? What do you want to know? Because I'm basically a vault of knowledge at this point, and I'm looking for direction. And I would like to engage with some of the people that are seeing these videos and that have questions. So thank you very much. God bless. Have a wonderful day. God loves you. I love you too. And I don't want anybody to lose members of their family like I did. So have a wonderful day.